Michael.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, stranger?
I'm all right, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, my man. Pretty good. We're here holding the fort. And I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. You know,
yes.
And yeah. But that's why I'm kind of happy to join this group and just be like a support,
Yeah.
a guy in the background, pushing you guys and just helping to make sure that you reach that vision and mission that you set. So people are coming on.
Yeah, people will come on. They usually take a little while.
That's all right. That's okay.
And then the meeting is being recorded. The app we use, the meeting is being recorded. So for reference, maybe for the next meeting.
Excellent. I was going to mention that. I was hoping
it's
that.
Recorded both audio and video.
Excellent. There is so much going on, Mike.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to stress to everyone that, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of all kinds of chaos, there's always some glimmer of hope somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm going to share a couple of articles that I put out recently. They came out on the Observer. I don't know if you saw them. But one of them talks about the paradoxical surge. A surge is when stuff increases. Anything that surges, you got a big surge, an upsurge, or a down surge. We're having a surge. We had a surge back in the 80s when you had Sweet Red Rose and Zach and Jiva and all these guys, Tikman Nimble. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those people had an impact on you too.
Yep.
Right. Okay. But that was and there was a time when we felt, man, we had momentum. I was president of the union back then. The other day we were in a meeting and I told people I called the date 1989. These guys freaked out. Everybody started screaming that it was so long ago. But that's the point. We've been on this stuff for so long. We got to move. And the only way we can move is by working together.
Yes.
That's the only way, Michael.
Yes,
seriously. So I want to commend you for this initiative, and I'm anxious to just to have exchanges with all the guys. I've been following the threads, and the issues that have been raised, on the chat line, and I'm sure that we're going to be discussing quite a few of those items, right?
Yeah, quite a few.
So
as we wait, usually we can wait for like it's a worldwide stuff. So people in various locations, their time, and so so we can wait like about 15 minutes,
okay.
And then we can pick up. So you can be passing around in the house, and doing some
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Oh, Big Brother's here.
Who's that?
How you doing? Big Steve.
Yo, what? You're kidding. Can he hear me?
Your mic is muted, Big Steve. Unmute your mic on your phone in the app.
We've been in touch. We've been in touch lately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're always in touch.
Yeah, his phone is kind of sticky. Probably
okay.
His network.
I'm glad to see he's joining.
So just a minute, I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, my man. Steve? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Steve?
Hello, this is Will. WG.
Yeah, hello?
WG.
Yep.
Yeah, we're waiting people coming, so people coming
Alright.
usually, you know, yeah. So you be lecture, you can be doing some general lecture, you know, let Prince over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Prince.
Ernie?
Yes,
Prince
I'm
Lou.
coming. Steve,
Huh.
you on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on, Ernie. I'm so happy you were invited, and I anticipated getting you from the initial stage. I mean, from the inception of the idea. I tried to get you here, but it slipped out of my mind. But then surprisingly, when I looked, I saw your name
Yeah,
as
that's
CEO guest and all of that. So we welcome you. We welcome you, my brother. And that's it.
okay. I'll be right back,
Okay.
Look at Prince Job, my man. What?
So when I want to see picture. How I can see picture? I can do it to see the picture too.
Now who talking about? I didn't say, but I ain't never.
That me, man. I big Steve. That me, I old school. I'm using my phone.
I see somebody using. You know
To
what?
be old school, that trouble.
No.
But I'm coming for you. Old school, eh? I'm coming for you. You will see.
No. But they start calling me old school too also.
Who that Prince?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no. But I coming. Old school, I coming.
I seen somebody with the LG. The person with the LG phone, I think it froze or something. They got a still image on the screen. That be Steve?
Yeah, I got an LG and something.
The K20?
It's LG K20. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just see your image is still on. I hear you, but I don't see anything.
Yeah, but it was on first, huh? Yeah, man. Man, the telephone thing, yeah. I'm at work anyway. I don't have my laptop here.
Correct, WG. WG.
I got trouble. I'm not trying to get back to my playing guitar, man. You see the my guitar thing I got in my head. Each and every day I will see.
Well, Prince?
And WG.
Prince, are you?
And WG.
That Prince or Jasmine. I remember and I'll forever be. I mean, I can make simple song and it sound nice, my man.
I tell you.
I'll be chasing after you, and I will forever be. Hello. Oh man, you can't like that to it, yeah. Huh.
Ale, will you see? Oh,
JP,
Who's that?
yeah.
Who's that? Moses?
William.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, William.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
what's up?
So
Yeah.
I recognize. Okay, so I get realized BC with the frozen phone, and then
Yeah.
the frozen.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem. I see where my age frozen. Yo, get older than me, I'll still be young.
and then there's somebody else that I see the person moving in like a blue or green like polo shirt. Okay, drinking something. Man.
Is
Name is Ernie Bruce.
Say.
Name is
Ernie.
Ernie Bruce.
Ernie Bruce.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. They mentioned the name in the chat room. I was just trying to put a face to. Yeah, and then there's the Shigi member Elena and your business. Someone they made no level. Yeah, level JP. The minute.
Yeah.
Actually, do the concert.
Yeah, but yeah, wasn't done.
Yeah, oh, you touching us, bro.
And now forever be.
Somebody not call my phone with the step my whole audio just now.
Oh, okay.
Like a minute.
That song.
The phone speaker off.
Yeah,
Oh, man, the message in that song.
that song is nice and simple.
First time listen to that, right?
Now forever be given.
So I said, William?
Yes, sir.
We got a mini mode to start.
And now William playing the guitar.
Yeah, that's William. Everything.
Yo.
Yeah, I said you can please walk me through the thing so I can get to the video. What's over here on the LG?
Hold on, come on. But it doesn't say that your
Listen, everybody here, when you want to view the next person, if you're using a phone, you just swap your phone. Just swap it. Swap it to the right. I mean to the left. Swap it to the left.
Oh.
And then you'll be seeing, but those who using laptop, you will be able to see everybody up here. And there's an arrow, Mr. Bruce, there's an arrow, right, blue, pointing blue. You just got to click on it and then you'll see the next person, you know.
but his problem is that his image is frozen. He's not.
Then he go off and come back in.
Yeah, you gotta.
And sometimes the internet and network, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about your end, but it's raining here crazy this morning, so I know the weather too can be a factor in this.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, Pushano can hear you. I can hear you.
How you doing?
I hear you. At the birthday, man. That's the birthday. Yesterday.
What to do, bro?
I've been long life and prosperity.
The man won't break his son.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Joan.
Oh, happy birthday to you, my brother. Oh,
Best on measure.
happy birthday to you. Oh, we wish you.
Oh, we wish you.
Oh, so sad.
So sad, yeah.
Oh, we wish you with you.
We do.
I know what it is. I'm singing from.
I'm not singing, bro.
Ah, man. I bring people in there.
No. Oh, man.
Hey, like, man, who people there?
Yeah, I get. Once you get money, come on me, I get.
They make a laugh. I see no producer I can laugh at. I do that in there.
All right. try to start this meeting. We
Put it from
we
somewhere.
have the secretary, the temporary
Yes, sir.
secretary here. Coaches, where are you? I can see you. Make your presence known, please. We have our fathers and then older brothers here. Coaches, checking the sound. Your volume, please. Get your pen and paper ready.
Coco on the line?
Yeah, Coco just joined.
I'm constro it.
Ah.
So, Dew Black, you can hear me?
Yeah.
You are first in Dew Black. All right.
Bro.
We'll call the meeting to order now. We have a few things to talk about. So before we start, once again, we already introduced ourselves the other day, but we have other people who just joining. If you were in the previous meeting, you're not supposed to introduce yourself. But if you're just joining us for the first time in this meeting, this particular app will recognize you. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself. So unless I point out the names, but I see Jess Prince, who is joining us for the first time. I see Uncle Steve, Big Steve, who is joining us here for the first time. And our special guest today, Mr. Ernest Bruce. And we see Duke Black. Yeah, so those are the people that I'm seeing here who haven't been in this meeting before. So for the sake of our other brothers who are here who don't know you, we would like you to kindly introduce yourself. And finally, the last person to speak would be Mr. Bruce. So you guys are welcome. We have Divine Records here. He's also going to introduce himself. So if it is your first time, as we go along the meeting, if I see anybody new, I'll be pointing it out because we need to know each other here for the record. So yeah, the floor is open.
Well, I'm Just Prince, music producer. I live in USA.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
If you're, if you're not speaking, you mute your microphone. Just his background noise coming in. You mute it. When you're about to speak, you just raise your hands, and then we'll see you, and then we'll recognize you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Just Prince.
Yeah, this is Just Prince. I'm a Liberian music producer, and I'm based in USA, Tennessee.
You sure you Liberian?
Yes.
Luke?
Yo.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yo, I'm Dew Black. A young music producer from LIE, and I'm based in LIB.
Divine Records. Divine, take your microphone, please. Who else again? Joy? Is that Jay Music?
I read. Shit. What's that?
We can hear you, Divine Records.
I'm with Swag.
I'm not getting you clear. I'm trying to follow. I'm not getting you guys clearly.
You're all the way in Gambia, so introduce yourself, please.
No, I just hooking up. I just joined you guys, so I'm listening to know what is unfolding.
You can hear me?
I'm listening.
All right, just introduce yourself for the sake
Hello.
of people who don't know you.
Okay, I'm Judy Appleton, CEO Divine Records.
And your location, please.
I'm in the Gambia. Gambia.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Trey Orlando was here the other day, so Who else?
Hey, Zai. How you guys doing this morning?
Yeah.
Very good, man, bro.
Sorry for the delay. I just
Orlando, where are you? Where are you? Portland or where?
right now I live in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Fargo, North Dakota right now.
All right. So more people will come on as we go on, and sometimes I'll be interrupting at times.
Okay.
So the rules of the meeting is if you want to speak because of the platform we're using, you just raise your hands like this. You raise your hand, and then you'll be recognized. And if you're not speaking and you're listening, you just mute your microphone and listen. When you're about to make a comment, you unmute your microphone and then put your point through as when you are recognized. So, gentlemen, our fathers, you are welcome to the second meeting. The first meeting, we get a lot of Coco to talk now because Coco we just appointed him at that time. So I would just give it to Pushano. So to summarize what we talked about the other day, and then we will open the floor for the meeting to start. So Pushano, if you are there, you can just summarize what we talked about.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, for you guys that just coming on, my name is Prakash Bestman, aka Puchano. I'm a music producer and a rap artist out here in Liberia. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for making, this time to be a part of this meeting. I think a lot of you are part of the chat room and you've been following during the days. We are trying to come together as music producers and sound engineers of Liberia to see how we can help influence our music industry. And that is, is a very broad initiative, but we want to try to fit in as per how we impact the industry as music producers and sound engineers. Our last meeting was more of an acquaintance meeting, and also we try to strategize the way forward as in fact, trying to organize and structure this association so that we hit the ground running and start to do things instead of just associating and sharing technical ideas or discussing issues relating to production and engineering. We want to be able to structure the association properly so we start to effect some of the ideas and policies that we want to use to make impact in the game. So in the last meeting, we more or less concluded that there were a series of questions raised, and we, as far as what would be the objective of the group and how can members benefit, so on and so forth. But we concluded that all of those things we can start to address after we will have, structured the organization. So we constituted more like a constitution committee, because what we want to do is we want to do a constitution, and then we will appoint some kind of interim leadership, and then go to elections to elect our core officers, and then we can start to put together an agenda and plan based on the constitution to start to implement some of the stuff that we want to implement. So more like I was selected to head the constitution committee, because as we all know, everything starts with a constitution, an association. Everything has to be based on the law. The law is always the foundation. So somebody's trying to call in.
I'm on. It's Steve. I'm on.
Oh, okay, Steve. Yeah. Are you trying to call in? Huh?
Yeah, he can. If he doesn't do the video, he can do the audio. He can stay here. So
yeah, I'm doing the audio. I was just redialing. I'm on now. The other one.
All right, welcome, big brother. Yeah. So where we are now is to try to craft a constitution that will reflect everything that we are about and everything we want to achieve and so on, guidelines and what. So
Who is speaking? Who's that speaking?
This is Poshano. Who's asking?
Oh, Steve. This Steve. I didn't recognize the voice, so that's why I asked. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay, so because of what we discussed in the last meeting, and I'm not, a lot of us here, you know, especially when it comes to constitution or crafting laws of association, you need people with experience in that direction and also legal advice. And one of the people that I thought would be perfectly suited to help us, you know, put together this instrument is Mr. Bruce. Mr. Honestly, Bruce is, he will tell you a little bit more about himself, but it's somebody that I've been working with over the past 3-4 years. So, I mean, he was the first music union president. He also served as the former officer in charge at the Liberian Copyright Office, and he resigned his post. Maybe he would tell you a little bit about that because he was trying to, you know, put together some kind of structure as far as intellectual property protection. But our country, we have a very complex situation when it comes to trying to put a structure in place. So maybe he will elaborate a little bit on that. So he resigned his post, and over the years we've been working together. Like we just released a documentary, and he was very instrumental in that process. And he's a very knowledgeable person. So I thought to contact him and see how he can come on board to help us, help guide us through the process. So I spoke with him, and as always, when it comes to music or the arts, he's always willing to support in whatever way he can. So that's where we are. Man, you know, not to take us so much time. That's more like what the last meeting was about, and this is where we are now as a group.
All right. So thank you very much. That sums it all up. The last meeting, and to our guests. This platform, as you already know, Pushano already, you know, explained certain things to you. It is not about any individual here. We realize over the we're not benefiting, and things not, you know, really happening in our country, in the music industry, as it relates to our neighbors, like Nigeria, Ghana, or even the whole world, you know, if I'll put it that way. So we came together, you know, to be able to form this association. We are not a union, we are an association, and we're trying to come together to see how best we can influence the industry and that we are trying to develop. We realize there are too many mouths, too many ears, too many eyes in the industry that don't really know anything about the business. And I always tell my producers here, my fellow producers, that everything starts with the producer. Without the producer, there will be no television program, there will be no TV program, there will be no artist, you know. So basically everything starts with us and ends with us. So if we are able to come together and be able to unite and have the same, you know, thought about how we want this thing to grow, then we'll be on our way to success. And then we can be like, you know, go down in history and say, when the young one grow up, they can say, oh, these guys have started this, and there was a foundation to lay, because we saw in other countries what other people did, and people came together. And today, you know, there were revolutions that took place in certain countries, you know, and today, you know, they are enjoying the fruit of it. So we know it's not going to be easy, but if we producers can come together and be one, then we can have bigger influence, as to what happened in the industry, when it comes to copyright, when it comes to royalty, when it comes to, finding an indigenous sound for our culture and our music, and so many things, and in the future, if this thing is able to pick up, we can have a national icon or national center of music, and where people, producers from around the world, engineers from around the world, musicians, artists from around the world can merge and work, and we can also have an influence in the Liberian educational curriculum, where Liberian music and culture is not really being influenced, because nowadays, especially in modern time, you realize that a lot of kids, they don't know, even like those from the early 90s who were born like the early 90s, they don't know anything about Liberian culture. Most of them don't know anything about Liberian culture. They don't know anything about Liberian traditional way of greeting people, talking to people, Liberian dances, folk songs, and all those things. The only ones that are common here, we hear the kakaleka, we hear this one, but there are more. And the kind of music, so that these things can be in schools, because we had the opportunity to go to other countries to learn. We were forced to learn their culture, their national, their culture and symbols. And it made us feel part of those culture, So those things can make you, it give you a sense of belonging, where you come from, who you are, and stuff like that. That's why in America or in the world, they have Black History Month, where you go back and visit, your roots, and know who are the Black people who made you do what you do, or make you look like what you look like, or wear what you wear. So basically, these are some of the things we thought they were wise to do, and that's why we put this group together. So it's a bigger thing. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than anybody in this group. Is something that is big, but it has to start with someone. It has to start with us. That's why this forum and this association is about. So Mr. Bruce, as a guest, this is our platform. This is where we are coming from. So we will give the platform to whoever. Mr. Bruce will speak later, but we'll give the platform to whomever that want to say something concerning what I just spoke about, and then especially Big Steve. And then from there, then we can give the platform to Mr. Bruce and then see.
Yeah. So first of okay, let me say some. First of all, we'd like to say thanks to our Father God Almighty, and we'd like to also thank the members of this August body. And we also like to say a special welcome and thank you to Mr. Brother Bruce, who has been my friend from a very long time. I was surprised to, I was not really surprised, but it was kind of coincidental to see him, because I was planning to invite him and to be part of this, as we had already had this in mind. So it's a blessing, and this is long overdue. It's long overdue, and Mr. Bruce can attest to it. And you said Mr. Bruce was the first president. Yes, he was the first president that were making a head, making sense, that high head on the shoulder. But the Liberian, when he came from the United States and went to Liberia the first time, he met Tipa and myself, and we encouraged him. We encouraged him to step in. We took him like you said before, somebody who had come from the United States and with the knowledge of music. And he was teaching at the LU, and so we kind of encouraged him to, and then we advocated, and we got him into the Liberian situation concerning regarding the Liberian music, and then From there, we were also instrumental together to do the first Liberian, how they call it, the first award, music award. We're all instrumental with Tony Cabatet, Tikman and myself, and some other guys. And so I'm happy. We have been, Mr. Dennis, we have been trying to make this thing happen in the background. Truly, I tell you, it's not about me. It's about our rich cultural heritage. And I heard you talking about the various elements that we will be putting, conglomerating to make this, to create the platform to speak, to represent, to enlighten, to educate, to create, to define, to identify and define, and know where we're coming from and where we're going when it comes to music and culture. You see, so this is a meaningful meeting. It's historic, and I just want to say I thank you guys for coming together. And coincidentally, you got Ernest Bruce on. I'm so happy. So Ernest Bruce will be able to tell you, because some of the things we know about the Liberian music industry, the complications, as the brother said, is very complex. By the way, the whole Liberian society is a quasi society, and we go through hardship for things to excel or grow. And even to initiate something, it gets so difficult. We got all kinds of people in a society that will be stumbling black and this and that. And Ernest Blue will speak only when it comes to the music, because some people were attacking and saying some things about the things they didn't know, and with some of us, we were trying to clarify things. And luckily, Ernest Blue is here to he's a good representation to give clarification on how far and the impediments we have, the stumbling block we have along the way. Some of the stumbling blocks are individuals that in the country there that stopping these things from happening. So that's it.
All right. So
thank you very much.
And for the information of those of you who don't know Mr. Bruce, he's going to introduce himself. I had the opportunity when I was in Liberia, and he's a musician. Gentlemen, he's a musician. He's not just another person. He's a music master. So,
Infectious?
Yep.
You're a bit low. Can you check your?
I think everybody else can get me clear, right?
Am I hearing you, Infectious? Can you?
I hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, you're clear.
I can hear you.
So yeah, we're gonna give him the floor. We can do with our past. We can do without. I mean, we can do without knowing what happened in the past. You know, we want to move forward. So, in as much as we have our pioneers, our founders, our fathers in this field, and who are Liberians also, who know what we don't know, we can do without them. So, as time goes by, if we have as many as we know, we're going to be bringing them here, because we don't make mistakes that probably did overlook at the time, you know, that we are taking advantage of now, that they feel, you know, they can help us best overcome it. So, Mr. Bruce, you are welcome to Limpa's second meeting. The floor is open for you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Gentlemen, and you know, I thought I saw a lady's name in the. Did I see a lady in there somewhere?
No ladies there.
There's no lady. Okay, all right. We're gonna have to try to get some women in there, some Liberian women, that is.
Yeah.
Seriously. But gentlemen, I am elated, and the three individuals know how I feel about this. Michael, I mean, I visited you in Quincy Beach a couple of times in your studio, right?
Yeah.
And Big Steve tells you a little story about how far back we go with him and Tika and the other guys back in the 80s, before all hell broke loose in 1990. Pushano has been I don't know what title to give this guy. We've got to be very close, and this is what we should all be about. And Michael, you have set the tone for this initiative by saying that what we're trying to do here is bigger than all of us. Once we get that in our heads, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Let me just give a little background about me and what I do, what I have done, and why is it that I'm here talking to you? What makes me eligible to say anything to this group at all? My background in music goes way back from here in Liberia, from right here. My father was a member of the Greenwood Singers. If you guys have never heard of Liberia, the Greenwood Singers, a group of young Liberians in the 40s, early 40s. My father was one of those people. I'll share some of this information with you as time goes on, because like Michael said, you've got to know your history, where you came from. There's been stuff happening in this country that a lot of our young people don't even know. Do you know that the first Liberia copyright law was done in 1911, 107 years ago? Do you know that? The first copyright law, 1911. And here we are. Piracy all over the place. Artists are crying. The producers are coming together, right? But nobody is making real money on this platform or in this environment, because this is your playground. Liberia is your playground. And take it from me. I lived in America more than 40 years. I went there as a young man. I did everything I was supposed to do. I did everything. I got my bachelor's degree in music. I got my master's degree in music. I got out. I went to Hollywood. I went to New York. I did recording, trying to make a living out of what I studied. And people thought I was crazy by getting a master's degree and saying I want to be a singer. But it's been all these years doing music. But I'll say this to you. Music has never fully supported me and paid my bill. Music has not. I did a big recording contract for a record company, Electro Asylum Records in New York. They told me I took some jazz in. I do jazz, I do all kinds of music. I do classical music. But these guys told me, go and bring some pop music, because this jazz stuff, the only person making money in jazz at that time, they said, was Grover Washington, the saxophone player. So I went and I spent about $20,000 of my own money. Got my buddies, my college buddies who were already playing out in Atlantic City, and we did the rhythm tracks. I did the whole project in about 3 weeks and went back to the record company with the demo. It was near master, but not there yet. The guy played the songs, all of the songs. And Steve has heard one of these songs. And Steve, if you remember, we were in the car riding to Philadelphia when I played that song.
Yeah, you play, yeah, that's right.
And you were almost in tears. You freaked out. You said, you were mad at me. I mean, you got this kind of stuff. What are you doing? But here's what the vice president of the record company told me. He listened to all the songs. He said, you know what, Ernie? He said, your voice is too nice. And at that point, my whole composure changed, and I was about to fire back and say, ask him the dumb question. Well, what the hell are you looking for? You're looking for. So the point I'm trying to make, gentlemen, is that it is a new day in the music industry. When I was going to the studio and doing all of this stuff and spending my own money, I was fortunate. I had good education. I had money, and I was able to support my own career. And I said to myself, if I don't support my career, who's going to support me? Okay, but those were the days of the analog, right? The analog. Yeah. One roll of blank tape, 3M. One roll of 3M tape cost me $150 back in the day. One roll of tape that was 2 inches wide, and the big. You see those huge machines, some of them still around. But those were the days when individuals sat in their pulpits and decided on the future of young, talented people. They either made you or they broke you. That's how powerful they are. Today,
Wow.
you guys have taken that power away from the big record executives. Technology has moved. It's the new day.
New day.
It's a new day. Right now, I don't need to have somebody tell me how that I'm too good. I finished my stuff. I feel good about it. I put the damn thing out for the whole world to listen to. I don't need no permission to do that.
That's it.
So this is the environment that we are operating in today, my people. And so, Michael, I want to commend you because what this technology is doing for us, it's helping us to be productive in spite of the geographical, distances that we have that separate us. Okay. And for Liberia, this is extremely beneficial, extremely helpful. I hope, and I keep listening closely to the rhetoric, and I've been talking to Cristiano, it's my fervent hope that all of you, regardless of where you are in the world, and we're all over, that all of you are thinking about this place, Liberia. This is your playground. My father told me this. I got to tell you this story. I'm sitting there in America, and I've been there for a few years already. And he came over after the war, and we're sitting out talking. And they all listen to me, and they see me do, live shows and, jazz shows and all this. And everybody is, giving me good, I knew I was doing something that people want to listen to. He sat me down one day. He said, "You know what, my man? I got to tell you something on this." I said, "What, Dad?" He says, "You have reached the pinnacle of your own profession, your instrument. You're a singer. You can sing Bach, you can sing Handel, you can sing Duke Ellington, you can sing Sonny Guy, you can sing anything." He said, "But you know what? You will never get your full due here in America. You're just another number here. You need to go home to your people. Liberia is your playground." So my sense, and I hope I'm correct, that where we're heading, and I'm going to mention to you that we need to focus on a vision statement and a mission statement. What is your vision? What do you see? What are you looking at? What do you see this group becoming in the future? And what is your mission? Michael, you already hit on some of that stuff. Okay? And my brother, let me tell you, you're on the right track. You make me want to jump up and down when you start talking about our culture and all of this stuff, because you are intrinsically tied to the culture of this country. What I've been doing lately, I'm involved in all kinds of things. And I said to a guy this morning, I said, God must be working, because you guys need to know that while we're sitting in this meeting, I'm also having meetings with the concerned musicians who are trying to reclaim the Musicians Union. Michael, you know about the history of Musicians Union, what's going on. You do. Cristiano, you do. Steve, you do. You were here when we started. The union has had leadership that's been sitting in there for about 15 years. And, we've got all these talented musicians around looking for direction. So I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing with you, with that group. And what we need to know is that where does this initiative, should I wait for that?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Anybody's in this group, you got your phone on microphone, mute the microphone if you're not talking, please, so that we don't have background noise coming from you.
Yeah, Shelton, please. Shelton, if you mute your microphone, that would be nice. Shelton.
I'm using the headphone.
Yeah, but your mic.
A Bluetooth headphone. Yeah. And there's no noise here. It's quiet in here.
Okay.
Okay.
What's going on in Liberia today? And I'm not really talking about the lost money and all of this stuff. The country is in literally in a turbulent period. But I said to Michael earlier that in the midst of chaos and all the stuff, there's usually some glimmer of hope somewhere. And usually if you will check, it is the artistic community that usually is the catalyst that helps a nation to move and bring people together using your culture, using your music, which is a very, very powerful medium. So the role I'm playing right now, you know, the new administration asked all of the appointed members of government offices to resign their positions and until otherwise. And I was one of those individuals. I was not a government employee per se, but I was appointed by the president to serve on the board of directors of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. You need to know about that office, its purpose. It is supposed to be there to help you too. And it has the fiduciary responsibility to create an enabling environment for the creative sector. Okay, that would include producers, the performers, the entire collective society, which the collective societies include the cultural union, the movie union, the musicians union, the Liberian Association of Writers, and the fine arts people. Those groups comprise the collective societies. These are the artistic people that need to be protected. Even now in the midst of lack of enforcement, high rate of piracy, which has a direct impact on you, what the work that you do. Your producers, you produce, and the question I've read in some of the threads is, what are we getting back for all this work? What are we making? So I'm involved in all of this stuff, but I run my own small company. We've got some projects going, Piso Entertainment. And the purpose of that company is to really work on capacity building with local artists. We're going to be involved in training, mini concerts, and we're hoping to open a large theater that will be used as a platform for mainly for Liberian artists, and a place where people can come showcase and have competitions and also do other stuff at that place. So I have made some points. Okay, I've got 9 points here, and I don't know, Michael, you want me to talk and introduce each of these points and pass them on to you guys and let people make comments on them, or should I just wait for people to ask questions? But you know, my background and involvement in what we're trying to do is pretty broad. I've done producing myself. I'm a musician, and I've been very much involved in the what do you call it, the technical aspect of what we're trying to accomplish here, because I know that the benefits to be accrued when we have systems functioning like a CMO. We don't have a CMO, a collective management organization. I traveled to Europe. I traveled all over and got support from the Norwegians. They were ready to give us $500,000 to start the CMO. We have people within our ranks who were saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And I mean, Cristiano mentioned, I don't need to be involved in negative stuff, and even if it's a government job. What we're trying to do as artists, you don't need to be connected to government to do what you have to do. Government's there to help us, yes, but we need to all try to do things for ourselves. The idea of this collaboration, I see it as being extremely valuable. I see you're sharing information, technical information, and it's just you need to decide on your vision, because I have made some points that you need to be aware of. So I mean, I'll stop now, and if you want me to go point by point, or you want me to just have questions, I'll be more than willing.
Yeah, thank you so far. You continue. I saw somebody hands up when you asked the question. Well, some people wanted to say something.
WG, you need to mute your microphone. Every time you try to adjust the sound keeps coming. Your headphone. Can you mute your microphone, WG, please?
Yeah. What you're doing is disturbing. DJ.
Okay.
Thank you.
DJ Rasta.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw your hands up, sir.
No, no, I was just responding to what you were saying about the Norwegian. And it's true, the Norwegian, you know, they do give a lot of money when it comes to culture. I live here, I know that. I already got some money from them for my project. They have international, you know, culture assistance program. So what he's saying is definitely true. We should pursue that.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Bruce.
Okay. The first point I have, well, I'm going to start from the bottom. IP. And when we say IP, it's intellectual property. Okay. And IP in any terms, anywhere in the world, involves copyright for the creative sector, you know, the artists, musicians, and then you have the industrial property component that is tied with patents and trademarks and geographic indications. So we've got those two entities. They exist in Liberia. We have a new law. The law was implemented, signed, and 20 is the 2016 law that replaces the previous law from 2015. Now that 1911 law that I mentioned is true. I will share that information also. Was sitting in the archives. It's still there in the archives of UNESCO. But when we started to do our laws here, and back in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, people working on stuff, no one was aware that that law existed, and so it was not repealed. But that all that's been fixed. Where do you fit when we talk about IP, intellectual property? And let's narrow it down to music, because that's where you are. You're critical to that whole process, because without you, the artists who are going to be producing products that will be marketed, that will turn dollars, they can't get to that point, and people and the consumers can't hear this stuff without you guys. You're like, you know, you're like a guy who's you're like a manufacturer, you know, to put it in simple terms. You build stuff, you put stuff together, and you try to make it as nice as possible with all the tools that you have, of course, with the artist. And that product is what you want to capitalize on and make money. So it all ties in with IP. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is you guys need to be more aware of the fact that intellectual property and the status of intellectual property in Liberia today has a direct impact on you. If, in fact, we're on the same page in that we're all operating with the mindset that we are moving towards building a strong entertainment industry in Liberia. I may be wrong. Maybe, and this is something you need to discuss. You're an association, and at this point, but that comes with the vision. Do you plan that the association will operate, you know, internationally, which is fine, but where will its home base be? Will it be here in Liberia, or is it in the United States? Okay, and how does what you're doing fit into your vision? I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I can't help, and Michael, you know, I can't help but say this, that, you know, I said it to you too, Michael. I said, my man, don't forget for us, yo. Seriously, we need all the technology from the Western world, but we need to be able to take all of that knowledge and everything and develop something here that'll be, look at what Jamaica has done, my people. Okay, that's it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we need technicians who have the skills that you have acquired over there. Now, it's also possible that these skills can be transferred and knowledge can be built no matter where you are. So you need to find ways not to channel this stuff into one powerful component. How it's going to be done, I don't have the answer, but it's a provocative thing to think about. Okay, but I think it's easier to fathom if you think about this place, Liberia. We're trying to build a solid industry in this country, and we need top-notch Liberian producers to be the ones who own it. We don't want it to be owned by Nigerian producers, Ghanaian producers. It needs to be yours. Okay? So you need to be concerned about what's going on here. I have all the information. I've been inside. I've been talking to people in the president's office about what's happened recently. The dismantling of the intellectual property office. The office has been dismantled, literally. So the new administration says, all of you who have appointed by the previous administration, you need to resign, step aside. They've done that. But that office, brand new office, was impacted in an enormous way. The director general was removed. His two deputies, the deputy for copyright and the deputy for industrial property, they were all removed. And I was on, or I would say, technically, I am on the board of directors, and I was appointed chairman of the board of directors. I served in that position with cabinet minister Eugene Nangwe and all these other cabinet people who have direct links with intellectual property in Liberia. So technically, Nyana Fambule, Mr. Tubman, and myself, who were appointed by the previous government, basically have not been reinstated to our positions. And I'm not sure if they've replaced us. So in the midst of all this kind of stuff, I can't be sitting out here worried about that. You know, what we're doing here now is very important. You know, and that's why I'm saying if we get carried away by the noise in the market, you know, we will lose focus. But that we can be productive, you can be productive in the midst of all these challenges. And you need to be aware of IP. Legal assistance, and you're taking notes, right, Bush? Or we got recording, right?
Yeah, we got a recording.
Legal assistance is critical. I have a colleague friend of mine, and I tell you who he is. The guy is Roosevelt Gould. He's a lawyer, a young lawyer. He was at the Ministry of Commerce, and he was the guy who was appointed as Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. Okay, he has since left that office with the new administration, and he's in the legal profession full time now. He has an interest, and he's done work with IP and all this stuff. Roosevelt is very willing to give some pro bono assistance, legal assistance to all of the people in the collective society, you know, this group and the musicians issue and anybody else. So I'm just mentioning that because once you make the determination, once the constitution stuff is worked out, you would have to decide on the domicile of the entity and, you know, legally, you know, how can it be strengthened despite the fact that it's global. You have members who are spread out around the world, which I think is a great thing. And I'm sure there are ways to work this. Okay. And that's, you know, I made note about the Constitution locale, and that can be addressed with some legal advice. Current conditions. I've just mentioned a little bit about the current conditions here on the ground. We have anybody here from Monrovia? There was someone from Monrovia, right? Well, I mean anybody online who's in Monrovia right now. Okay. But Puchano, you are in, somebody in any other producers push from Monrovia?
Yeah. I'm here.
Rocket Boy is in Monrovia as well. Big Black is in Monrovia.
Okay. Let's see. Because
Lakshan, can you mute your microphone?
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the current conditions are not good, but current conditions from our perspective are such that I see this as being the right time to strike. And when I say strike, I mean to put steam to this machine, everybody, whatever initiative, the musician people, you guys, everybody needs to put steam to their own initiatives, because what's happening right now is a convergence of all of these groups. There's a convergence going on right now. Okay, I had a good meeting with Julie Indy the other day. But you know, prior to meeting Julie, I heard all kinds of stuff, and you know, we have to engage each other. You guys have engaged me. I'm here. Okay, and I intend to remain here. But everybody is coming together, but bringing their own initiatives with them, because collectively, when this group speaks with one voice, the powers that be will have to listen. Okay, because now we have inside knowledge on what needs to be done. And despite the fact that some of us have been moved aside, it really doesn't kill the initiative and what we're trying to do here. There's a momentum going on that we have to seize upon. You know, I don't have to repeat the situation with lack of enforcement. We still don't have enforcement around here. The new Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office was in the newspaper. I don't know, Pushana, if you've seen that. She made a statement about cracking down on illegal activity. You know, back in 2012, 2013, when I was at Copyright, we had Operation Big Fish. We went out in the street. We locked up, sealed up several stores that were selling illegal discs. We discovered a lot of stuff. The Ministry of Commerce issuing license to people to sell illegal products, and all of this stuff. I was arrested. One of the illegals got a lawyer and took me and arrested me. They charged me and took me to Temple of Justice. And what was going on was that the Minister of Justice was fighting against the Minister of Commerce, the line Minister for Copyright. So we got all this kind of stuff going on, but we got to keep moving and we can't give up. However, we all need to know that most of what we're doing will be not to much avail collectively for the country if we don't have systems here in place. So we need your support and your awareness. And anytime you can speak up about what needs to be done, we need the CMO. We need it very badly. And we need all the other entities, the other members of the collective society to be functional, so that we can make the proper demand to get the kind of support that we need to do things. There is a mechanism called the blank tape levy. The blank tape levy. The blank tape levy is a mechanism that's used in copyright to protect creators. What it is that all items being imported into the country that can potentially be used to duplicate other people's work without authorization, you put a levy on it. Every CD coming in the country will have like a 5 cent, some levy will be on all this reproduction stuff. The whole array will have levies on them. That money will be collected by government through revenue. And it's been done before. It'll blow your mind. We did it before. The government collected $200,000 back in the Charles Taylor days. Charles Bright was Minister of Finance. They collected $200,000 just from the blank tape levy. That money is intended to support the artistic community, the creators. So we've already had meetings with the Finance Ministry and all of this stuff. There's a plan, and I've worked with them to lay it out what needs to be. That's another thing that can be done, because today the amount of money that can be collected under the blank tape levy is huge, very, very huge. And what would happen is the money will come in, and the copyright would surrender about 10% to government as operating expenses, and then the balance would go to the support of the creative sector. Okay. One thing that is important, and you guys have talked about it already, fee standardization, the standardization of fees. And I see the trail, people mentioning what they're paying in different locations. This is something that needs to be worked out. And you may want to take note that it's a little difficult to reside in all these different countries that already have systems in place. For instance, in New York, I mean, the studio fee is set already. I know, I mean, I was paying about $100, $150 an hour for studio time in New York. And it varies from region to region. So you got people in Europe, in America, in Australia and UK, right? So I mean, that's something that needs to be worked out. But I'm trying to get a deeper understanding, Michael, on this group, and people are concerned about we're not making money. Okay, we need to make more money. I'm trying to understand whether we all feel that as individuals, when we make more money, how does that benefit the group as a whole, or Liberia? I'm trying to understand. I mean, the issue of making more money it goes without saying. I mean, come on, you're not doing this for, but how does that help the overall picture? Because Michael, you know that you will make more money if the product is excellent. And notwithstanding, there are a lot of excellent products out here that, don't make a lot of money. It's a highly competitive industry we're in. Highly competitive. Now it's a lot easier to put stuff and play stuff with Spotify and all these other platforms available. It's changed from just media to physical media to digital media now. So the business, of money making and income, you need to think about how that will strengthen you as a group, and of course, how will that strengthen the industry in Liberia, the producers, and what's happening on the ground. I'm trying to, there's something you need to think about. Okay. The internal capacity building is already going on, and I've read a lot of it. It's great, Michael, and that you guys are sharing all this technical information. I think it's incredibly good, and I wanted to make a comment about that. The vision, you need to analyze your vision and your mission statement. It's very critical that those two things are developed right now. You already have
Mute your microphone, William. Harris, mute your microphone on the phone.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. Continue.
That's all right. But Michael, you already touched on stuff. A lot of stuff. I've been reading. Your initial statements when you open the page, you can develop the vision statement from that. But if that vision statement is critical, and I mean, I'm hoping, and I would like to hear from you guys. I would like to hear your sentiments about your vision for this place. The reason why the Nigerian guys are doing so well. The reason why they're doing so well. They have a platform. They own that place. They have mucho studios. They have damn good equipment, and have guys who know their stuff. But it's right there in Nigeria. I would love to see the day when you guys, and we got plenty of space here. It's not going to be overcrowded. I'm not saying everybody pack up and come home. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a critical component of what you're trying to do should include this place. Cristiano, you're hearing me, right? Yeah. Okay. So categorization. There was some mention of categorization of the roles in the industry with regard to what you guys do. Producer. Are you a producer, strictly a producer? Are you a producer performer also, like Quincy B was, right, Michael? Mm-hmm. Like Prince, right? And Stevie to a certain extent. There's certain guys who have the ability to go in there and jump from.
We have a few here who are producers / performers.
Performer, yeah, and that's great. That is great. But those who are not performers don't feel that they left out. I mean, all that kind of thing. that's the yama yama that make the soup taste good. Seriously, you know. And then engineer. Nowadays, with the technology the way it is, the producer is most likely also the engineer. Correct, Michael?
Yeah.
So you're doing both, because now the equipment is so compact. You know, you don't need a guy running over there to set the big reel-to-reel machine. And you know, I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, I used a studio. I was very fortunate to have a 24-track studio right around the corner from me. Guys came from New York to record there, and the equipment there was like, I mean, huge stuff. So your place, your home, I've already mentioned this, your sphere of influence, SPHERE, your sphere of influence. Where is your sphere of influence? I know you can immediately answer, so well, it's the world, because we've got the internet now and the whole world can hear you. But you know what I mean? Your sphere of influence. Is it America? Is it Australia? Is it Idaho? Or is it Monrovia? Or is it Buchanan? Is it Liberia? Your sphere of influence. Where is that place where you have a lot of influence, where people will run to buy your stuff, where people will give you the kind of recognition and rewards that you're entitled to? That I'm not trying to, you know, say don't, you know where I'm coming from, but you must know I know where my sphere of influence is. It's right here. You know, I'm not a household name, and you know what? It's never bothered me. I've never clamored to be a big star. You know, I am very much at peace with myself, and I feel very fortunate that I have good education and I can do a lot of things other than music. And those are the things that I supported the music. But a lot of you are doing this, you have a passion. You have a passion, and it happens that passion can be also productive and can yield some good stuff. So I'll stop there for now, Michael.
Thank you so far. There are a lot of things some of us we are learning, and sometimes we feel we know a lot, but by grouping and coming together, you know, you learn. That's why it is important when you go to college, at least you get a group, because people got different thoughts and trends of projecting their thoughts. So it makes people learn and expand your mind. Because what Mr. Bruce is doing here, I know some of you guys, you are so modern to the point where sometimes you don't need some of these lectures, but it is very important that you can move on. In my opening statement, I say you can move on if you don't know your past. You know, you can move on when you don't know how your back was looking. You know, you got to prepare your back and then move first. Some of them here, they made mistakes, you know, and we're facing the consequences today. But if they are still living and they stay here, we have to bring them back as producers, as musicians who have experience, you know, to share some of these stuff, because he has shared a lot of things. And I will let him hold a little bit, and I will open the floor to those who have comments, who have questions. You know, if we can finish this, if he can't finish all his points today, we're having another day again. But he has spoken enough for now. So I would like to open the floor, and if you have direct reference to what he said, or you have some points or any questions, suggestion as to his conversation or his points he was putting across, you are open to raise your hands, and we will recognize you, and then you can speak. So the floor is open for the next few minutes, and then we'll go back. I will have CJ Rasta. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know what time it is in Monrovia. Hello, Mr. Bruce.
How you doing, man?
Okay. I don't know if you know me. My name is Chilton George James. I work for Big Steve, Patrick Gifford, and other people before personally. Okay, but you made mention about the somebody got to mute the microphone. Some noise is in the back. Okay, you made mention about about the platform. Initially, when we started discussing, those were some of my points that I put forth. Like, we cannot move forward if we, Michael?
No, somebody phone is on speaker or something. It's giving feedback. Uncle B Steve, can you mute your mic on your, or somebody got a phone near the laptop or something. We got a phone that's already on the laptop. Yeah, but go ahead, Ja. The point is going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As I was saying, I know. Is it possible that we can re-establish this platform that has been forgotten? Because when you look back, when I met Big Steve in Danane when I came from Bone Mines, he introduced me to the several styles of music like Sea Breeze, the High Life, and those were the kind of style of music that I built. I initially built my platform on when it comes to African music. I produced particular in the Ivory Coast, even her last album in the States I did. So people keep saying that Liberia does not have anything. Is it possible that we can reestablish these trends and build on it again, like that of Nigeria and other countries?
Well, you're talking about stylistic things, and you're talking about a type the style of music, some of the old music. Is that what you're referencing?
Let me just generalize it, like what Liberia had before, that you can listen to and say this is from Liberia.
Oh, okay.
Can we?
Well,
yeah.
Well, and it's a creative thing, and if you're passionate about that, I've got some stuff from the Greenwood Singers. These Greenwood Singers, they were young people in the 40s. They were just out of high school. My father died. He was 96 years old. He just died a couple of years ago. He was a member of that group. These guys, a man came from America, recorded them. He took the recording to the States, and these people never heard themselves. I have that recording here. It's been reproduced. Okay? So, I mean, you as an artist, if you want to take some of Sarah Norman's stuff, if you want to take some of the Professor Benedict Hayes, he was a blind organist. He was blind keyboardist. He played for that group. These are things that you can do. Absolutely, yes. Yes, why not? Absolutely. And I mean, it's cultural, and you need to grab onto it and come up with some new ideas. And if you want, I'll send you some of that stuff so you can check it out.
Okay.
You go on, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, so far, yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Real deep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, what I wanted to say was that music is a trend. It's a trending industry, and that means that things are quickly evolving. And so, you as producer of this, producers or manufacturer of a particular product, we got to be able to find out what is needed. And what Chitan is saying is very important. We need to there's always a challenge between finding your identity and then going with the flow, which is also, two competing equally important things. So going back, taking sound from way back in the days, that's not uncommon. People do it nowadays. But it's all about how you can make that sound that you're going way back for to sound current so that people can be able to relate to it nowadays and accept it. That's one of the beauties of what we're doing. So I think that's really the challenge. It's not like we don't have strong musical heritage in Liberia, but how can we modernize it so that it maintains the originality as well as take on another form that would be acceptable to today's music industry? I think that's where the challenge is.
Spot on, my brother. Spot on.
Yeah.
That point is clear. Yeah, Kushana. Your mic is muted.
Turn your mic on. Okay.
All right. So for me, as a producer and also being an artist who has been influenced by different genres and different style of music, growing up next to the Kenneja and being influenced by all the traditional rhythmic patterns, And then growing up on music of people like Fatu Gayflow and Big Steve and the Zach and Jiva, and also being influenced by hip hop music and pop music like Bobby Brown. I think the secret is, as far as going back and taking something original and making it current, is more of the sounds. I think it's the sounds that bring that current texture. Because if you went and took an original old rhythmic pattern and you played it with a current contemporary instrument or sound, then the style would be there, but the texture, you know, will be current. I think that's how I have managed over the time to have been able to, you know, done like songs like Murad that I did for Lucky Bucket. If you listen to it, it has a rhythmic pattern, but I did it with some modern plugins, so it sounds a bit current, but you know, you also still have that. So we have to be able to infuse, especially for people like Chilton or people, you know, that are live instrumentalists. You can also try to figure out how you can infuse some modern plugin just to mix and bring some contemporary texture, but the originality will be there. And also, to end, we shouldn't also dwell on what's trending, because what's trending now was before. Like if you take something original and you don't follow the trend that is trending right now, and you take something real original and bring it, it comes and stand out with its own identity, and it can also form a trend. You see what I mean? So we should try to watch the line between trying to be so much contemporary that we dilute originality, because from my understanding is if it's original, then it's just a matter of time before it becomes a trend.
All right, so I want to throw out a fun here, okay? We are talking about originality. We are talking about, you know, being original, which I support, and I'm all for, you know, for. Look at a bigger picture. Some of us we've been producing local sound, you know, because at least we had opportunity to listen to our older brothers, you know, when we were growing up, and we listened to that music. We used to have our little children concert, bagia and stuff like that. We would sing their music, and we eat a German food, and they are 10 cents and 5 cents and stuff like that. I want to ask this question. Anybody can answer this question. Being original now and trying to do original sound and the kind of song. How best you as a producer you think you can influence the artist who is bringing money to pay you, say, at 1 day? How best can you influence that person and say, look, I can do this for you, I can twist it like this for you, and how best can you convince that person? And do you think you will make money nowadays, especially the modern time? Do you think you can make money from being original all the time or most of the time? That's my question. Anybody can answer.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, CJ.
Okay, you see, for me, if you've been following the state, I just play some people low, because the thing is, you set a goal and you're going after it. Some people just come and we want to, you know, use the time and they pay you, and you just get anything and they get out there, and it's not setting a standard for you. That's why we have this group. As I said initially, we come together and come together and have one word. When it comes to production, when people come, we make them understand that, look, we have to set a standard lyrically, musically. You got to be positive in what you're writing, what you're singing about. Make sure it makes sense to do it. And also we set the standard. So, I mean, it's not all about the money. You can take your money and go. If we want to move like real forward, we got to put the money aside. You know, I understand what you're saying. You know, sometimes people want to get a little choppy from the side. You know, People can tell us, oh, well, they know where I want it. They let me just do my list stuff and go and know. But we're not going anywhere. We need to make the sacrifice to be able to take this thing because, man, yes, everything that was done before has been buried. We have to reestablish everything. You know, bring in standards. I know there were people who come to you and say, I want to sing that David, I want to do this. No, but be creative. Try to win them. Try to win. That's what I do. You can ask my you know, I call him my father. Steve is my father. I call him my father. We talk, and he's open. You know, as advanced as he is, experienced in time, and say, no, you tell me what you want me to do. We should be able to use our power to be able to convince people what we wanted to do. And as somebody was talking about, I think it's Prashando, on how we can, you know, create this beat and do that and create the music. I think we should work more on the melody of the lyrics. I mean, of the singing. That's where we can establish something that's from Liberia. Because if you listen to how Tika used to sing, you know, that whole thing, that Malay thing, all that kind of stuff, when Tika used to sing, this stuff that we can really introduce them. You know, that's the good far. I mean, that's my point.
All right. So I live in Ghana, and what you're saying, people did it, and that's how it came about hip life. And I don't know why we changed our own to Beko or something.
Yeah.
Hip, and we added to cool, you know. But nothing wrong with that. But they did the hip life, and what this guy did was, you know, I always stated in this group, and anybody trying to correct me, the issue that we have is a genetic problem, Liberia.
Yeah.
That's a serious problem. And what I mean by saying that, we don't have one language that everybody understands and speak. That's one of the major barriers. And unlike
we got Kolokwa though, Margo.
No, Kolokwa. Kolokwa, everybody speak Kolokwa. I know that. You understand? But
I mean, that's the only thing I can think about, not to cut you off.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say is culturally, you know, intentionally, something that can that people everywhere, you know, other than English, you know.
Yeah, that can connect. You know.
Yeah, you know, that's been one of the problems. Like you go Ghana, if you speak Twi, I always making reference to Ghana and Nigeria because these are people that are making airwaves in the African entertainment industry, besides South Africa, you know. But these guys, they have the identity that every time, if you go on the encyclopedia, the World Encyclopedia, I think 2008 or 2010 or one of them, you go there, you click on Ghana, you click on the cultural music, you hear, cultural music, man, you hear this kind of music. I'm talking about, you hear the whole life, you hear the different genre of music. You go to Nigeria, you click on it, you hear it and stuff like that. And one of our problems, the challenge has been that if the crewman make music, the Lama man won't listen to the crewman music because why? He doesn't understand it. He know the culture. If the Lama man make music, it sound funny. The other person won't listen to it. So you know that has been one of the problems. So one of the issues again with producers, which of course the reason that one of the reasons why we created this group is to help other producers who can play any instrument. Because taking things from out of your mind and clicking there is different from taking things from out of your mind through your feeling and through your hands and utilizing it. Is different, you know. So the last time we're in a group where we're talking about, you know, if you know you have challenge that you can't play, find people who can play, translate your ideas or give them your ideas, sit there, let them do it, and then you tell them how you want it. There are people like that. I have artists who come to me, they don't play, but musically they have it inside of them. They will tell you, I don't like this melody. Do it like this. When you start to do it, they say, yes. I think that's it. You know. These are some of the things challenges we're having. We have the young ones who are coming up, who, you know, some of them, we have this software they call FL Studio, which if you don't even know how to play instruments, you don't know how to play any instruments, but you just have the idea, the raw idea in your head, you can just go on your laptop, and the laptop keypads have been transformed into keyboards where you can just touch one or two things. And we got a lot of smart kids, not only in Liberia, but around the world, producers, great producers that some of them don't even play musical instrument to do that. But what is important is to know the content of what you want to produce to give it an identity. So if you're an artist, you're a producer in this group, what I would suggest, because we've been talking about is I think this thing is something that producers, most of the producers, really want to see happen in the Liberian music industry. So I think producers should beef up their creativity. They should challenge themselves. And if other producers who are already ahead, who are creating certain unique sound, if you're the young ones, or if you're another producer, and you think the sound is good, that you can take it and modify it and make it, a signature tune, that will be fine. Because that's what happened in the Nigerian, the Ghanaian music arena. If a producer brings up certain kind of beat, everybody's like, they try to follow that trend, they try to modernize it, they try beats. Another producer brought it up. Producers are taking it on different levels. So that's what I'm talking about. Creativity, we have to challenge our creativity. If I even play High Life, you can modify the High Life, how the High Life should sound and stuff. Like you can make it better. Like when I entered Liberia, I used to play certain sound. When I play certain sound and I realized other producers, they started doing that same thing, But we left ours and we are out there. It's not a bad thing because the whole thing is about business. But we need to, it will not happen overnight. So if you are already here and you started it and you're doing it, that's why the chat group is there. You share it, and some people, few people being putting their work in the group, asking people to, critique it, tell them what they think. Some people send it to us individually and want to know what's up, and we've been helping. And that should be the turn. And, people should be able to, accept. First of all, you got to be able to accept the person's work, not to agree, but accept it and be able to, say what's on your mind concerning the person's work in a friendly way so that everything can, pick up. Yep.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, bro. Yeah.
So, okay, on this platform, we will go back again to Mr. Bruce. And Mr. Bruce, you can go ahead.
Can I comment? Can I comment, Small?
Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of originality, I think we're all saying the same thing, but in a different form. I think when it comes to originality, I think we got some, like Pushana was saying, the Bema. It's just that our music is kind of seasonal, right? We don't do our Bema on a regular, on a normal, like the way we release every month we release our Bema is always like a season time. When the season is approaching, that's the time you see people dropping the kind of songs. Infection Michael, I think you can attest to that. I think we need to start producing the kind of songs every time. And another thing we should learn is that when the person do a song that is unique, that is different, we should try to copy that. Because in Nigeria, Ghana, what you guys do, they copy like hell. And it's not bad. These things help for one sound to circulate. Because if you, in fact, you did this sound, I said, wow, I can do something like this, though it will not be similar, but at least it will be around that same kind of thing. I think that's how we will stand out with our sound. We try to practice that.
It's only in our society that also we have a lot of challenges because, see, for example, Azonto, when Azonto came from Ghana, we all join me Azonto. Liberian, all Nigerian, all doing Azonto. When Shaku Shaku, they are new music now. Shaku Shaku, everybody doing Shaku Shaku. It came from South Africa. It entered Nigeria, it entered Ghana, and Liberians are doing it. It came from somebody. So, like what Stone is saying, my problem here is that I have with some of the producers is the lack of creativity. You don't have to be like me, but you can challenge yourself so you can get at least above 50% of the public appreciating your music. You don't have to have 100%, but you can know the best way you can know that you are improving is you're having at least 50%, following you or more, appreciating your music, commenting your music. But if you're a producer and you are producing and you don't have people, and we're not saying that, or we're not suggesting, or I am not suggesting that you change who you are. No, it's not. I'm not suggesting that you change who you are. You can still remain who you are, because what? If Timberlake came to you to come do music, you're not gonna. Or if I call Tasha Cobbs came to you to come do music, you're not gonna give Tasha Cobbs Bema sound. No, but even if another Liberian came to you to do R&B, you're not gonna tell the person. But there are certain kind of people that will come to you that you can use your signature tune to, especially when they're doing the kind of music, that will represent, that particular thing that you want, you think you can infuse. I think you should work on that. Yeah, go ahead, David D.
Yeah, I mean, all the points everybody's making, they're all some point that are a part of what we're trying to do here. They are important for elevating our sound and standardizing our music worldwide, all of that. Originality, those are all things that are important. But to keep this meeting in context, because I believe when we started, even when our father was talking, he was talking on like the organizational point of view and institutionalizing certain things that would go more toward helping us to be able to benefit from what we're doing on a long term and even short term scale. We could go here and there, go in the dynamics of day-to-day music production. That topic is not going to end, because I'm going to start asking questions about how do you compress a kick drum, how do you do this, how do you do that, and whatnot. Those are all things that we all need to individually learn. I mean, collectively, we can, like you said, you can give feedback on one another's work. Say, hey, so and so, I listened to your mix, but I think you need to do this and this and this. But for the purpose of this meeting, I think we should try to direct our comments and stuff toward the organization, putting things in perspective, like copyright and all the different things. Because remember the other day I asked in the first meeting, one of the things I said was that, like, what do we stand to benefit by being a part of this organization? Like, and I can sit out here and say I don't want to have anything to do with being a part of the organization, or I could come and be a part. But what do I have to show for it? What is required of me? You know, so what change am I going to be able to effect long term and short term? You know, so the thing about the originality, that whole studio session dynamic, I think happens everywhere. People go to the studio, they want their music a certain way. That's how they want it. But you as a producer, usually there's a fight in the studio. It happens. So I know everybody here. I know I go through it. So that fight is always going to be there, and I believe it happens even in the Western or culture or whatever. But if you listen to some songs that, like, I try to follow some of these artists, even Kirk Franklin, the great Kirk Franklin go to studio, some of the song he carried, the way he arranged something, when he take it to a producer, then they will fight over it, but at the end of the day, before it come out, it turns to something else, and then that become big. So what I'm saying is, these things will always happen. You understand? Trying to get somebody to maintain that originality is a matter of choice. What we need to be focused on as producers is making sure that originality or not originality or copy, whatever they're doing, that when we are producing it, it's something that is presentable out there. Something, because we're talking about style of music. Like, if you listen to more than the hip hop now, when hip hop started in the 90s, it was all acoustic and live analog sound with groove and whatnot. Later on in the 2000s, whatever, TJ Kelly then started using a whole lot of synthesizer. It began the trend. Nowadays, now you got all the kind of reverb and something. You know how it is now. You know how music, somebody can make a whole music. You're talking panda, 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 and it's a hit song. So those things are always going to be there. The dynamics, they're always going to change. But what we need to do is, within, like, how do we fit within each other different event here, and how can we remain standard so that when we produce it, when I say this music is from the Liberian community, because I associate with a lot of people in American community, Ghanaian community, and whatnot. I really don't have a lot of Liberian friends here, but when we said something, me as an individual, yes, that's what I'm looking for from this. Me as an individual, when I go and say this music is a Liberian music, or this music is Brazil, or I go to a party and say, oh, can you please play the music? It's from my country. I want to know that I can be proud of that music. You understand? That's one aspect. I don't like standardizing. That's on the standard. That's the quality aspect, the standardizing side of it. That's that. But on the other hand, too, there's the part of it that the people were trying to talk about the whole institutionalizing thing. You know, so I believe basically what I'm saying is this meeting could be held in two different forms. So we need to specifically decide what we're addressing today, and then we can have subsequent meetings to address some of the like. If we can even do this from time to time. You maybe as a CM producer here, you say, okay, gentlemen, today I'm talking about compressing key jar, talking about percussion session. How do you do this? We can get on the meeting. We talk about all that. I mean, all the things is very important. But my point is that I feel like I don't know where the meeting is going anymore. You know, so
but WJ, yeah. Mr. Bruce spoke about platform. When I came in, I introduced this platform and talking about foundations. So then Michael came in and he brought about how we can have an identity. So I don't think we are deviating. And to the point where you're talking about what you, we have a crisis when it comes to our industry. There's a big crisis. You don't get any other national playing Liberian music anywhere. So that alone should tell you that there's a big crisis. So we're trying to find an identity, and we're not forcing people. But what I'm personally trying to say is that I will use my influence in the studio to be able to set you and tell you this is what we're trying to get. And it's not false. I understand what you're saying. All the other points you made is fair. But you said when you go, you want to give a CD to somebody to play so you can be proud. How do they be proud of you when they don't know what kind of music you are doing? That's what I'm trying to say. And we are way back. We are decades back. We're organizing our industry. So, I mean, that's where the platform business came from. I understand what you're saying, but we still got to be able to use our influence in the studio. That's why we are producers in the studio. We're not just going to say, oh, play playing, I play playing. Oh, play record, I record. No. It doesn't work like that. In the studio, you should be able to use your, use your if you're a professional man, you should be able to deliver. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but I mean,
no, you are. I totally get what you're saying, and that's that. Like this, my point is that certain aspect of that whole dynamic that is sort of voluntary. Because if an artist comes to the studio and you try to persuade them, like I've done a lot of those.
I mean, you're talking about organized industry. Talk about America has a very strong organized industry.
No, but there's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of garbage music on the American market too. But you know why? You know why those garbage music are still the music that we hear? Because they have a better organized system that imposes.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, gentlemen. We'll leave this topic here for now, Bushana. Let's leave this topic for now, for the sake of our guests. Let's forge ahead. This is something that we'll talk about. This will not be the only meeting because this identity thing has always been there. We talk about it. Bushana, you still want to talk about this or something else?
No. I think primarily we are all citing very important points, but I think what I understand WG is trying to say is that let's keep things in context, or else our discussion is gonna be longer. You know what I mean? I think this meeting was actually about how we gonna craft a constitution. Let's stay focused on the course of action, because like Marco, as far as like for example originality and identity issue, that has to be a whole different meeting. You know what I mean? That has to be a whole different meeting. And if we start to infuse it, connected with actually the structure part of the association right now, then we might be swaying. So I think let's now Mr. Bruce has provided us with insight and giving us some clues and some points. He stressed something about mission and vision. Those two things really gonna determine the tone of our constitution and what we are about. So I think we should focus on how we can concise or compact those two things in a way that it summarizes and everything. Let's focus on that. And then once we get past those, we obviously there's a lot that we have to talk about as far as the production or creative side and the technical side. But let's focus on the structural.
You guys getting everything wrong. It was ask a question so he can comment. I asked my question, so you can go ahead with your question if it relates
No
to.
problem, CJ. I mean, I was just trying to put things in context, bro. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we all will chip in as we feel necessary, but you know, like we said in the beginning, the last meeting, we concluded that there are three things that we wanted to institute moving forward. We wanted to institute a constitution. We want an interim administration, and then we want to let that interim administration help us go to elections, right?
Yeah, but let's move forward now. Let's move forward.
That is why we brought on Mr. Bruce, and so we don't want to sway the course because you know, CJ, the identity issue is a major issue, and we will probably need a totally different meeting for that.
All right.
Yeah, I know, man. I was just asking a question.
Mr. Bruce, you can go ahead. Gentlemen, we'll have like an hour and 5 minutes to end this meeting. So, Mr. Bruce, you can go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think Willie D,
Yeah,
you made a very good point, and I want to proffer that. That you know, this is such. Look, this group it's already busy. There's a lot of stuff. There is tons of stuff to cover. So my suggestion, Michael, is that you have probably to start 2 different types of meeting. One meeting will be administrative meeting, and you let people know we're having an administrative meeting today. Come with all ideas. These are the points we're going to discuss. Another meeting will be a technical meeting, a meeting, you know, and your guys got tons of technical stuff. I mean, you know, and that's what you were trying to say, right? Is that right? So, I mean, it's a good idea, you know, and it'll help to get a lot of traction. I mean, that's just as good. But, you know, following the conversation, you know, past few minutes here, there's something that I just wanted to touch on. And Michael, you made a very keen observation that we have back in the day, we talk about 22 different dialects in Liberia. Is that number still what? 20 something?
We got 16 tribes, I think.
16 tribes, but we got dialects.
Oh, okay, dialects. Right.
And Michael, you made a comment about you know, if the Loma people, you hear a Loma song, the Loma people don't want to listen to the Vai song, and the Vai people don't want to listen to the Bassa song. But you know, something I've come to realize over the years, you know, after being over there for so long, come back home during the Tikva years, and many Tikva. You remember Bezon rap? Anybody remember Bezon rap?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What dialect was it done in?
Bassa.
Did people like it?
Yes, people like it.
Everybody loved it.
The song was powerful. It still is powerful today. Right. The point I'm trying to make, Michael, is, you know, and I've decided to start doing some stuff using the Vai, because sung Vai is very beautiful. We need to look at all of the languages we have here. It doesn't matter if you're Loma May or not. I'll sing a Loma song if I like it. The bottom line should be that it's a Liberian song, and believe it or not, people will grab stuff. If they grab Bezon rap, they will grab something else in, you know, I mean, in Vai. But it's just got to be, the quality's got to be there. Okay? But I mean, that's something that all of you guys should think about. You know, this is where the Nigerians and Ghanaians got us beat. Right, Michael? We all know that. And you know, you got people here singing Nigerian song in the Nigerian dialect. Do you realize that? I was at a club last night and people singing the Nigerian song. I was like, damn. So, I mean, come on. So we don't have an excuse here. We do not have an excuse. We've got all of the elements at our fingertips. We just got to use them. Okay. But, you know, I don't want to, you know, spend too much time, you know, going over these things. But, you know, I want to say, at Pashana, you just reiterated that the next thing should be the design and, you know, of the vision and mission statement and the building of the and the drafting of the Constitution. And I'm more than willing to, you know, to help you guys with that. But, you know, if there are any other questions for me, and Michael, I mean, Oh, you got notes. I mean, the thing is recorded. So I mean, my notes here, you don't need these notes. I mean, because you already have a recording. And you're going to, before the next meeting, you review this stuff. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So I mean, now unless people have questions for me, I'll take them. Anybody have a question for me?
If no question, we should just we can go on. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, guys.
So right now, we reach out to you concerning structuring this organization because of your vast experience, and we just started this organization, and we can move on. We're not properly structured, For me personally, when I thought about it, because there are so many disadvantages that I have gone through as a producer and a musician, and other observations that I've learned from other countries, places that I've been and things that I read about. So we as producers, instead of going online and addressing Liberian music, describing it the way it is, or talking about artists, or talking about background of whatever, we look at it like, it starts with us. If there is no us in the TV station, if there is no us in the studio, if there's no us on the stage, there will be no performances, there will be no artists. So we want to inspire. We want to inspire our generation that follow. We want to be about innovation, where we can come up with ideas that will stand to today and tomorrow for the next generation. And and then financially, we all here should be successful, because if we are all successful, we will be able to do a lot of things. Some of us will be able to manage artists. We'll be able to put a large concert. We'll be able to, develop our society, our community from where we come from, in our own lives. So these are some of the missions, I've been thinking about, and vision. So that's where we are, when it comes to putting this structure together. And it can be run by one person, it can be run by another person, it can be run by everybody. So this where the idea of forming a government, a law that can guide all of us. We know that everybody will not come on, because when we started this, we have over 59 persons in the chat room, and we know that everybody will not come on. It has to start from somewhere. It has to start from somewhere, and it has to start with somebody.
Yeah.
And whatever we discuss, whatever we come up with, anybody that come on board, you have to follow suit. So we don't have experience. We've not been in this thing in the past like you people. So we are here, and we invited you to give your expertise in helping us to form this constitution.
You got it, Michael. And I think that process needs to begin post-haste. It needs to start right away. And I'll work with Pushano's on the ground here with me, Mike. And you're over there. I'll work with you guys on fine-tuning your vision and commission statement. Okay, and working with. So Push, you in charge of the Constitution, is that right?
Yeah, we have a committee, me and D-Boy, because in the last meeting, I think we're like 6 persons. So, okay. But if there's anybody else that has any knowledge of Constitution or whatever, and think they can be of support, you're welcome to be, join. Let's work together. And I don't know what the process we want to initiate as far as moving forward. Are we going to wait for you to or consult sitting with the body to construct this mission and vision, and then we base that, or how we go about it?
No, I can work with you and Michael. We draft something up, and present it to the body, send it out, and say, gentlemen, here's what we got. What do you think about it?
Right.
You find to come up with a final draft, and then you do the same thing with the emission statement. I have samples. I've done this kind of stuff for our organization in the States, the Episcopal High School Alumni Association. We're there and we're here. But in conjunction with doing this, we need to talk to the lawyer. I'll talk to our lawyer friend, Mr. Gould, because we need to know legally. Look, what's being done here is nouveau. Nouveau, that French word means new. This is a nouveau idea where you've got artistic people, producers who are scattered around the world and want to form an organization. Okay, we need some legal advice, and so immediately what we're going to start doing, and Pushana, you're here. I mean, you can join me. You've gone to a lot of meetings and things with me. We can meet with Roosevelt, and we can start drafting their templates for the Constitution. It's it's not rocket science. And then Michael, we work on the mission and vision based on your ideas and give it to you, and then you can decide, and then we present it to the group for finalization.
Mr. Bruce,
all of this
address here. Since it's an initial body that is coming together, and everybody, because once you're part of this meeting and part of this group, meaning your concern is already guaranteed. So, Pushano, you can reach out. We can reach out to everybody here. Everybody can write something, whatever on your mind that you want to see in the Constitution. It's not a Michael thing. I don't want people to look at me like, I know. Eventually, it's going to be you guys here running things. So, but we have to start from somewhere, So everybody here, you can make your research as an entrepreneur, businessman, business-minded person who want to take your music to another level. You guys can, what you want to see happening here, and submit it to Pushano, so that I did my own already. I got my own already, what I want to see and what I think should be done. So I will submit it to Mr. Bruce. He's going to look at it, and you got a point. You submit it into the group, or you submit it straight to whoever we're going to appoint here, the Constitution chairman here. We're going to the head. Submit it, and then we put all the documents together. You put your name on it. Whatever you wrote, you put your name on it, so that we submit it. They will look at everybody, and then we can draw the law from there. So it can be like Pushana or me and Mr. Bruce, because in the chat room, somebody, went there and said they highlighted my name, Michael personal meeting. The thing is just in my credit card name, and I created that account, but it's not my personal thing. So yeah, let's get out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just like to come in. I think we will continuously try to reiterate that this is a collective effort, and we want to try as much as possible, Mr. Bruce, as much as it might be painstaking, because I know a lot of the things that all of us might submit might be repetitive because we have similar concerns, but in the same vein, we want to make it as open as possible. So coaches, if they're listening, we have to create an email address for the group, a Gmail email address, where we will submit to the chat room, and each individual can send us a mail with their necessary concern. I mean, as much as it may take us some time, but I'm willing to sit with you and whoever to read all those mails and take out the similarities. But you never know, in the process, people might just interject something that we might not be thinking about. And then all those things, and then, when we will submit it to Mr. Gould as some kind of backdrop coupled with whatever template, so that we can come up with something that is kind of holistic. That's cool.
Mr. Bruce, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't think I have much more to say, Michael. I've covered all the legal, all of the major spots. I think, is it possible that you're gonna set a next meeting, or you just do that?
Yeah,
How often you guys are having?
From now on, I will move to suggest that we hold a meeting, a weekly meeting every Saturday about the same time, and until we can get a constitution formed, or until we can get something to finally present. So I think I would suggest that. So if anybody is in accordance with me, you can. Or if you have any other idea.
Okay, hi everybody, Shadow man right here, Minnesota.
Hey, Shadow, what's up?
Yeah, I've been listening and like for the few time I've been because I've been getting into it's not good. It's a good
Shadow,
idea.
introduce yourself. Some people don't know you.
That was okay. I said Shadow man out here. Shadow man, you say tricky puppy, the tricky puppy man, the same person, he pull out in town. I think that the most famous people really know about me and stuff.
Artist.
So I'm both artists, I'm a producer, so, and we all been doing this thing. My God, I'm a pattern. The method I came from Ghana all the way. All right, so as I said, I'm listening to everything. I think everybody makes sense here. We all been fighting the thing from day one, all for some other 20 year, whatever we in the music, anything, we all gotta come to a conclusion right now to see how we can be able to generate and make money. And I got some ideas from other engineer and producers around that I've been working with and listening to, not only for our country, Nigeria or the American here, all around. So I will come in with my own idea, whatever email that's supposed to be created. If I would suggest that it be created as soon as possible so that the next meeting, so that we all, everybody email or everybody's suggestion or points or opinion can be made before then. And by the time we come for the next meeting, at least then everybody got the idea now on what we're about to do, because having too many meetings, too many suggestions, too many statements about different issues without even putting something down right now, what the same thing every time. Because I was listening to certain things, you guys were talking in the beginning when I came, and everybody has to leave it and come back to the main point of this meeting. The main point of the meeting is to draw down a constitution and then see how we can bring an internship for everybody to know what they got to do in this group and what our move forward should be. Michael's suggestion of having a meeting every week, I think it makes sense. So they don't have, for me, it's not compulsory for everybody to be in the meeting. No, for whoever in the meeting, and so whatever come up from the meeting, you can follow up since you're in the group. I think these video will be recorded. So after being recorded, if you really wasn't in the meeting, you can go through the video. Maybe the link will be shared in the group, so anybody can click the link and go through the video instead of all going back and forth every time, so that people can start from where we stop, or from wherever the meeting stop, and we can continue from there. So that's my opinion.
Anybody else?
Infectious, I just wanted to.
Okay. That's a Portia's key. It was a temporary secretary we appointed the last meeting. So go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to add on what Shadow said. Is it possible for you to give the agenda of the next meeting 2 to 3 days before the meeting, so at least everybody can have an idea?
Yeah. Usually when we have the meeting, I can put the agenda up in a group chat room. And the last meeting we had was strictly focused on structuring the organization, and that's where the Constitution business came about. And we suggested that Mr. Bruce come in and help us with his experience. So from now on, the meeting will be just about structuring the organization. They are going to do their work, and then the next meeting they're going to bring out. That means we all here, we got to submit some form of information, if we have one, about how we want things to be done. so that everybody look at it, the similarity, like Bushana said. We extract them and the unusual points and unique points. We look at it, they will look at it, and then they can integrate it into it if necessary. So basically, that's what we're doing. So maybe for the next 1 or 2 weeks, if that's the kind of meeting we'll be having, because when we are structured and we know our vision, where we're going, the benefits and the disadvantage, whatever that's supposed to be in the Constitution to guide us as a body, and we'll know our way forward. And then other issues then we can be addressing it now, because once this thing is formed and the Liberian name icon here is registered and is recognized by the proper authority, we're really going to be working. We're going to be working. So those guys who looking at it like, you guys are just up for another fund and stuff like that, even if we have 10, 20%, and we are honored by the rightful authority in the word of Liberia, we will be very strong about decisions making, and it's going to affect every Liberian producer. Yeah.
May I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I also want to add that the constitutional process is a process, obviously, and I really also want to encourage the regularization of this meeting like you suggested, and we can, just keeping that energy and the interaction. So for example, our next Saturday meeting we will probably just update the body on how far the process is as far as the constitution thing, but then maybe we could also use that day to throw out another meeting, like for example, the identity issue that was mentioned. We could focus more on that next Saturday, but with an update of the progress with the constitution. Because like you guys know, the constitution thing will be a process. It might take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows? You know what I mean? So maybe next week we might just have little information in that respect, and then what do we do with the rest of the time? As far as we have the chat room where we do a lot of typing, I think the video interaction is also important, and we can choose a topic that is not administrative, as Mr. Bruce said, that might be technical, that we could add to our next meeting just to spice it up until we might have a finished product of the constitution, and we will just have a meeting based exclusively on that. I don't know what you guys think as well.
Yeah, the next meeting, all these things that we are saying here, some of us, when we are very much constituted, some of us will come here, who have experience with certain things, will come here. Some of our meetings will just be in studio. You guys will be in your studio, I'll be in my studio, or wherever you are, and we share ideas. I can take a piece of vocals and tell you, this is how I work on my vocals, and I focus the camera on it. So many things will be happening, but nobody, like David was saying, what would be the benefit? I won't come here and be sharing my ideas when I know we are not together, because when anything go out there tomorrow, I can hold you accountable. Why you took this thing out there? You're supposed to take it out there, so we'll hold you accountable. So when you're part of this group, whatever we're going to do here, if I'm mastering in a session and I want to share in the group, in the meeting, I said, in the meeting, Infectious Margot will be mastering a session for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So if you're available, make sure you be part of the meeting. So we address people's concerns and stuff. Things that I know you might not know, things I might not know. Shortcuts that I know you might not know. So these are things we'll be doing. In the long run, you and myself can never sound the same. That's one thing. I can give you all the ideas. All the students can sit under one teacher, but you can never be like the teacher. He will always be a teacher. And you can never be like your fellow students, because the way he understands the message and the education is different from people to people, from people to people in the classroom. So yeah, these are things we'll be addressing. So there are too many things. And besides Mr. Bruce, there are people, international producers, entrepreneurs, business, music business personnel, we'll be bringing here to educate us, and it will help. They're gonna help. If possible, we're gonna be bringing ministers here, government officials here
Exactly.
to talk to us, you know. And some of you guys who have questions, concern about entertainment industry, Liberia, and this, that, you can bring it. But this platform is non-political. Get it? It's non-political. We don't discuss politics here, and we don't talk about partisan issue here. It's strictly neutral to the purpose. So, Mr. Bruce, maybe you want to give us your parting comments until we see you again next week.
Before Mr. Bruce, can I ask something real quick?
Okay.
All right. We talk about the Constitution and whatever. Okay. Now that the Constitution is not there yet, and we're talking about you suggesting a weekly meeting, which I 100% support the weekly meeting or whatever, so that it will help us and also strengthen our togetherness or whatever. But with the Constitution not being ready yet, what are some of the steps we need to start taking? Because if we say we're based on the Constitution is already, it's something that have to go into writing, have to go into auditing, editing, and different stuff. Before that finish, according to Pushana, it might not even take a week to get it done. It will take a time to get it done. Because number one, I think we have to. One of the first things to build a constitution, it's better to go online and get other people that are in the business, like American music, follow their constitution, how it works, follow the African music constitution, probably from Nigeria, other people that got stronger industry, they all see how their constitution works and things. So analyzing all those things before we come up to a final conclusion, it will take a lot of time. But notwithstanding, we can just be having a meeting, just come and talk. Michael, the idea about discussing about our work, what you do in studio, what we didn't do in studio a day. Probably when somebody have a question to ask, maybe you're trying to do a mix and come and giving you a hard time, you come into the group and ask other people that got idea. If you want to share, you share. That's good. But we still have to have a move forward on something, because that alone, some people will say, oh, but I can do my own work. So there's no need for me to be always in the group chat, or there's no need for me to always come to a meeting, because we still discussing the same thing that I know. So for me, I think I would suggest that. And we come up with other stuff that will help the body. And while we're waiting for the Constitution to come in, there should be some other stuff we should start putting in to use, so that at least by then, before the Constitution comes, we all got a vast knowledge on everything that we're doing. The organization has already been structured in a way, so probably maybe we can start the structure in another way, apart from the Constitution right now. And if anybody, for me, I think there's some idea that I got to that we can start from. We start from that point. Other people that got idea, they bring their idea too that we can start from while we're waiting for the Constitution to come. Because before that Constitution comes, it will be a long time. Some people start feeling weak. Most of our people, they won't get patient to go through stuff. For me, I get a patient. I got patient to come every time. But if me and other people not got the same mind, that's what I think. I don't know.
And give your suggestion. Because that's what the group is for, to keep the group busy. Not everybody good at writing in the chat room. If you want to have a meeting, just hit up the person that is responsible for the meeting, and they will give you the information, and you can invite people to what you want to do and stuff like that. So you can give us suggestions. That's what the group is here for. That was just something we're saying. I was just suggesting so that people get busy, and we get a group busy. So the secretary is here. Whatever suggestion you give, he's going to note it down, and then we can work with that too.
Just a word of caution about the Constitution. After the galley, the Constitution needs to be designed specifically to fit the Liberian situation and this group situation. Remember, I'm saying this is a novel idea. I don't know of another group of people who are trying to do what you guys are doing. In other words, I mean, you're from a unique country. You have unique challenges. Constitutions that generally are similar. It has to be tailored to the situation that you all find yourself in today, and the fact that you're not physically in one place. And I'm sure that there's ways to interwove all of this thing, so that it's solid, and it's got to be built on a solid foundation. That's why Pushana is saying it won't happen in a couple of days. It'll take a little while. But in the meantime, there's tons of stuff. I mean, you guys already can be doing. This. You got your hands full of tons of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If I may suggest that what we discussed during the week, as far as something that we could start to focus on, as we all know that database of our membership is really, really important. So I'm talking to coaches so that we can already start to profile our members, our membership. Maybe we're going to do like a form or something, come up with a form that we will disperse to everybody to be able to start to collect, you know, as much information as possible, name, your strength, your weaknesses, and whatnot. It's something that we need to focus on. It's really, really important. I talked to Michael about it, and coaches, we need to start to work on that. That's something we can do. Start to gather data on our membership and start to show the picture of each individual. If you're a producer, an engineer, or producer/engineer, and so on and so forth. If you're running an entity, what is that entity, so on and so forth. So we get adequate information on our membership.
Yeah, that Pushana, that was exactly what I meant. You know, I mean that we can't wait for only constitution. So while waiting for the constitution, I'll start something. Like for example, we can start working on our blog. You know, the organization can work on a blog right now. So whoever got idea on working on a blog and take the initiative you started and start working on a blog, we can work on like we already got a Facebook page right now, work on a blog. Make sure that every producer in this group send in their autobiography about themselves.
Profile, right?
Yeah, everybody sent in their profile, their full profile about themselves. According to Pushana, the same thing he said about what you do, what you didn't do, what you not do, your organization, everything, your personal information, everything, your contacts, everything. Make sure every producer in this group send us so that we can have everybody. And just in case, if we want to write a project out there tomorrow for somebody to do anything for this group, they shouldn't be asking who is this person, who is that person. Let everybody know, whoever is member of the group, and whoever coming in, they don't need to ask them to just go and read for the group. So I know if anybody has an idea on the blog, on establishing our own blog right now, I think that would be a very great idea. Get our blog, get our Facebook page, get our other social media. I can take the initiative to create our Twitter. I can create the Twitter page. I can create a YouTube. I can create
our Instagram.
Social media that we're not on yet, so that we can start branding ourselves before time. By the time that everything finished, and we're already there, and then we need a domain because the Liberian Music Association, Producer Association, if we don't have a domain, somebody will pick that name, that LRM, PA.
Now because I've been doing some research, that name is not available. So
it's not.
There are things that we'll discuss, and we can get a unique name for.
Yeah. It's not available right now.
I checked with some experts because these are things I wanted to do and then bring it to the group and say, but when I checked and I asked the guy to check, he checked. So you got to get a Limpa, but then you add something to it. So these are things we all can look at and see what we can come up with a unique name. But
all right.
Other thing that you're saying, we already got a page already set up. I've been encouraging people in the group, please post something in the page. Please do something, put something there, instead of ask for pictures or only a few people, So I understand that's the Liberian thing, beginning of everything.
Oh, it will come. Gradually it will come.
And stuff. But trust me, all of you guys are here. We put our hands together and things work. Subsequent people that will come in the future, they will have to apply, and they're applying with money.
Okay, but But Michael, this what I read in here, right? To start off something, this is it. Somebody have to take the initiative for being on the data. So if one or two persons is on the data, that would be very good. If you say somebody should go on a page to go post about themselves, trust me, it will be a very difficult thing. Our people don't like to write. We don't like to write. We don't even notice. Sometimes when somebody come in, we just be passing the page, just be liking. They even know what they like, what the person cussing or the saying ugly or bad thing. They will just like and pass because they see it in their way. So I think the best thing we can do here is somebody take care of the data. If we got 1 or 2 person to take care of the data and be administrator of the page, that would be nice. Somebody responsible to put in everybody or information. So if everybody responsible to send in their if we send it across the border, everybody send in their autobiography, and tell them a little biography about themselves and what they do, their profile. You send in your profile will be taken care of by the person who over the database, and send it and put it back, put them to the right places they're supposed to be. Then put it on the page. So you don't have to go do it for yourself because somebody is already in charge. So it's like a voluntary work for now. I know we don't have money and other things to do it right now. We're not bringing in money yet, but for me, I know it's something that I think we all should look at.
So if that is the case, then we'll need administrators from around the world, from Liberia. We'll be responsible to post content, take content and send it to whoever here and put it up there. Or straight from your end, you can put it there from Europe. We already got somebody. The only person in Europe now is CJ. So CJ, we're gonna make you one of the administrators there. From Liberia, we have few people from Liberia. So one of you can volunteer. The reason why I call CJ because he's the only person in Europe. And then Australia, we only have one person for now, which is Zito. We can make an administrator to know activities with Liberian entertainment on our side and producers on our side. So you guys will be added to the list. And so and then in America here, we can decide among ourselves. Since I already created a group, I'm already one. So you want to be part of it, you make it known, and then because I can just add you there unaware to yourself, it's not right. And you got to be ready for it. And we add you there as an administrator. You can monitor what happened in the chat, whoever you want to add there as a member. And we've been having a lot of requests from people. But we only accepting producers, and, producers for now. And honorable member, people who you think they have influence, positive influence on the Liberian music industry scene, and people who have gone ahead of us, like Mr. Bruce, like Big Steve, these are people that always been talking, and always that's why you see them here today. So if you know of such people who are around, not people who can divide us, who can bring us together. So that's it. So if you're interested in the administrator in a group,
yeah, I don't mind being an administrator on my side, for our side.
And I don't know in Liberia, you're there. I don't know how to make all of y'all. So in Liberia, who else?
Michael?
Yes, sir.
I beg to depart. Yeah. I got another meeting coming up. You almost finished.
Okay. Yeah. So we will post. We will get back to you. Pushan will get to you the next meeting. It should be Saturday. So we'd like to have you on the next meeting. That's we start at the same time. So
okay. And gentlemen,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for all your ideas. We look forward to getting great one, and we are working in union. And as an older folks, we accept any idea from you because you've been running it, and the main reason why everybody here say, okay, you should come into the meeting to give us some ideas. So thanks a lot, and we appreciate it. Yeah.
We got Debo over there. We got Lokshan. So we need at least 2 persons from now to be administrator. We can get a lot of administrators. So,
Michael, should I suggest something? All right. You remember we talked about the email, right? All right. Is there any way that anybody can open the email? I can do it if you guys want me to do it. I got a problem.
Got it. I just need to share. I just need to give it out.
All right then. For the email.
At gmail.com.
For the email, I think the best thing you can do, you can pass the email on to the administrator, the email and the password, so that just in case, and when the email go in the group, that every producer must send in their profile and a little autobiography of themselves. When they send it to the group, then we go in there, access it, and edit it and stuff. Correct the English, then we can start
right now, we're giving you another position now, temporary position as a communication head.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. You freshers?
I'll take that.
You freshers? Are you getting me there?
Yeah,
Hello? Yeah, cool, man. Sorry for the time, like I said, I've been so busy with other stuff than down here. But I appreciate the presence of the guy who just left and the man who is trying to put our stuff together, the Constitution. And so far, what I have heard, they are all good. And you were talking about administrators, those that want to be part of the administrators, right?
Yeah, on the Facebook.
Hello. Yeah, on the Facebook stuff. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I can say I can start from there because so far we that are active from Liberia, we are not that many. And as somebody who been in the game for a while, I know that you will expect me to be an administrator.
Well,
So
I will just sit back and put it at the person that won't work.
why me call the wedding?
You're on your way.
Is there something I have to know that I was not around?
Oh, we can go way back, but the video is there. So
I know.
Yeah, we'll just put a video. And for the video take long to upload, so maybe I don't know what I should put the audio up because I can convert the audio to MP3 and be lesser, but the video can take a long time because you got to convert again after doing this. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think the audio can come off first, then you can later upload the video.
All right. And the reason why I can't upload the video in the group messenger at the group page and how do you call it, the chat group, because Facebook doesn't allow anything more than 25 megabytes, and most of the thing we do.
But that YouTube channel is okay though, Michael.
Let's create a YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel, what I want to do, I don't want to restrict it to us alone, but when I try to do it, people can get access to it and stuff like that. So I left it open. So I just
there's a way you can do it. You can unlist it. When you unlist the YouTube channel, then you only send the access or link to everybody in the group. So when you click, all people will see it, but they will not. They will not see it as listed something. When you go check, you'll find it. No, except you got the link.
I'll get the information, and then when I upload the video on the page as a private video, you have access to it. So you can go there and do the technical aspect. I won't be able to do that.
Yeah, because for once I get an email and a password, I can be able to go there. So I will go there. I will unlist the video because when you make it private, only the person who have access to the email can be able to see it. So yes, so the best way, if you want everybody in the group to see it, you have to unlist the video. When you unlist the video, then you share the link in the group. So anybody click the link, you go directly to the video to watch it. Only you gonna watch it because you have the link to hide it.
All right, Scotia's-Key.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say? Because I want to turn it over to the acting secretary right now to say and how do you call it? Summarize what happened here today because you've been in the meeting through and start doing ahead of that. Just not gonna do, my man.
Who? That man is scratching your head too. I want scratch my own head too, but I said no immediately. They had in your habit. We don't people here, then, brother.
All right, questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, after me, any other person talking? Because I just want to wish me. I won't take down any point again.
Go ahead. Yeah. Nothing else again. I don't think anything else you gotta say.
Okay. So far, so good. My attendance here was I mean, it's great. We had
Stop playing with your hair, my man.
Oh Jesus.
The love Jones.
I just have to touch it. Okay, the attendance here compared to the last meeting, I think we upgraded a lot. We had like almost well, I would just name we had Michael, we got Michael, Jeff Springs, William there, Uncle Steve, Duke Black, Prakash, J Music, Divine Records, Trey Orlando, um, we got D Boy, we got David Sandy, we got Sun Lokshan Kennedy, and we got Shadow Man. If I didn't call anybody name, can you? And then we had our guest, Mr. Bruce. His name is Bruce, right? Or Bruce?
Ernest Bruce.
Leonard Bruce. How you spell that, Leonard?
Ernest, ERNEST.
Yeah, the attendance was great and matters. I mean, we had Prashant briefing us on the last on the last meeting because I was inactive at that the last time based on my newly appointed position. We had infectious briefing us on the purpose, aim, objective, and goal of the organization. And we had Mr. Bruce, who came in, and spoke a lot on some issues that we are to follow in enhancing and bringing this organization to light. He put down some points, which are listed here. After everything, maybe if we want to go back to his points. I mean, some points that were listed was, the identity of the group, and then he spoke on that. I can't go through that. I can't go through on. I can't read all through because it will take a lot of time. But if you want to follow up on that, you can.
You done?
No, coming. He spoke on the identity of the group. Spoke on setting up a legal assistance process. And he spoke on our sphere of influence. And a lot of points that he gave. I mean, a lot of discussion that he gave. Sub discussion, and the questions were being posted. Chilton, comments by William, and then we have Sun Lokshan, we have Prashant, and then we talk about setting up, the group blocks, email address, what have you, and then setting up domain. Also a database, which will be spared by me. So I mean, if you want to know how the meeting went, if you were in and out, you want to know how the meeting went, and then you want to go deep, you want to know deep into what was discussed, maybe you can play the audio after Infectious posted or the video and what have you. But so far so good. Yeah, that was about everything.
Thank you. So our next meeting time will be Saturday. Saturday will be the 1st, or the 30th? 29th. Yeah, the 29th of September. The same time, 8 a.m. So I will be adding the ball, Shadow, Ushano, CJ Rasta, Zito as administrator in the chat on the page for the page. And so you guys will start working effectively immediately. You guys can post things that and things that will help the body, not things that will, drive us away from our purpose, and we have they got something called assistant, something in that stuff too. So if you want to be assistant, you can't really go into detail like the administrator will, but you have right. You can put some things there too, and monitor things. So you got a position too. So if you're interested, you can also let me know, and I'll put you there so that we can all, make this thing work. So, gentlemen, it was nice. Our meeting is 2 hours 40 minutes now, and it has been very productive. And I think we are heading to something bigger. I want to thank God for everybody, every one of you guys, and your contribution to the Liberian music. Entertainment industry. Keep on doing what you're doing. And tomorrow, very soon, you see our head in. We'll see you. Y'all keep it up. So, gentlemen, if there's nothing else, again, I move to close the meeting. Or in second motion.
Who the son? What's up, man? What's up?
They are moved to close the meeting. I want to close the meeting.
I seen a man.
I'm secondly in motion that this meeting has been successful and therefore be adjourned.
We adjourn the meeting for next week, Saturday, 8 a.m. All details will be posted on the page and also in the chat room. Thank you and have a blessed day. See you. Bye-bye.
Ahí era.